Welcome in episode 99 and a half. We're almost there. We got 9 3/4 coming up next week. Then we've got 100. And we got all sorts of stuff going on. We're going to recap the conference finals in the NBA like we should. We're going to prep you for the finals that kick off here in about an hour and a half. And joining me once again is friend and co-host of the show, Zach Huffman. Zach, how we doing on this Be Happy Finals game number 1 Thursday?
You know, we're nervous. But let me tell you something. I could be a lot more nervous this week, right? Because, typically about this time of year, OU softball would be playing in the championship series of the Women's College World Series. That did not occur this year. Unfortunately, we lose to Texas Tech. Almost pull off a miracle there at the end to force a game 3. I mean, that's some Sooner magic right there, but I think we just had a little bit left in us before we had to get out of there. So I've had a lot of people talk shit to me this week, like we didn't win 4 in a row before that, but hey, it had to end.
Yeah, the streak had to, and you lose to a generational pitcher. I guess you kind of have to just tip your cap, right? I mean, she's amazing. I can't say enough about the fact that just we kind of figured OU's pitching staff might be a little bit just not as good as it was, and I think that was just kind of proven. Sam Landry's a hell of a softball player. She'll be taking her talents to the AUSL. She is one of the 12 selected college softball players to get that opportunity to get drafted into that league, so congrats to her. Big time stuff though from Patty Gasso. Look, this is the youngest team in the SEC as softball wise, and they still made it all the way to the last 4 teams. So it's not like this dynasty is over. It's not like it just hit a snag, and they'll be back next year, and people will be crying again about how good OU softball is, because it's not going anywhere. I don't know why people think that this year means that it's not going to be relevant anymore. No, it just means that you'll have another year of Canada being a great pitcher for Texas Tech. They have a chance to be kind of back in this situation again next year with NIL and portal stuff. You never know what's going to happen. And Patty Gasso is going to have these young guns ready to go. I have really high hopes for them. But you're right. Normally we're at Toby's. We're ready to rev it up. I mean, but no, not this year. But hey, we're fine with it. We'll be back next season, no problems.
Yeah, I guess I just have to settle for the NBA Finals.
Yeah,
right?
We'll just have to settle. Poor Oklahomans. We'll just have to settle. We're eating good right now. And we better cherish these moments, because they are going to be few and far between, I'm sure. Let's go ahead and just kind of recap kind of where we were last episode. We were live the day that the Knicks beat the Pacers to only be down 2-1 instead of 3-0. They end up going back to Madison Square Garden and losing game 4. Going back. They're in Indianapolis. They split the series in Indianapolis after falling behind 0-2 at home, and then had to go back to Madison Square Garden to try to force a game 6. They do, but game 6 was back in Indy. And Indiana, the Pacers, get it done. They punch their ticket to the NBA Finals. What was kind of your takeaway from the Eastern Conference Finals series? Because for me, it was just kind of this thing of the Knicks are kind of who we thought they were. No defense. The transition defense was awful. It made me want to cry. It was so bad. They fired Thibodeau after this, which I think is totally uncalled for. I don't really know how much of the blame you have to set on the shoulders of somebody to get you to the Eastern Conference Finals for the first time in 25 years. But, don't look at me. It's New York. I get it. Kind of a tougher area to not be, if you're not winning championships, get the fuck out. That used to be New York. I don't know if they can really say that anymore with the way the Yankees and the Knicks and the Giants have been the last decade or so. It just hasn't been the same type of aura that normally emanates from the Big Apple. What was your takeaway?
Just how resilient the Pacers are. I mean, multiple games that they're down double digits, multiple games that they have really close games at the end where they have to pull off some sort of miracle. Just how lucky I really think the Pacers got to get out of this series in six. Um, you know, I don't think it's often that you see the game one scenario where Tyrese Halliburton goes and hits a crazy game tying shot after an insane comeback, including like Aaron Nesmith scoring 20 points, in one quarter off of like six threes. I mean,
We
if that
love
doesn't
that. Yeah,
happen,
so
yeah, I mean, if that doesn't
it
happen,
goes
then,
seven. Yeah, it goes seven. Yeah, it goes seven.
it
Yeah,
easily
yeah.
goes seven. And who knows? The Knicks probably have a little bit more momentum and they
At home,
probably
yeah, they were the home.
win
They
game
yeah,
two,
yeah.
like. So I think that the Pacers are a really really good team. They showed how dominant I think that their transition offense is, and just how often they're able to push the pace. I think everybody's kind of already used the term. They're the Pacers,
Yeah.
and they're going really really fast, and it's helping them. But I don't think you can do that against this Oklahoma City team.
No, it's different. I like your takeaways as well. They pushed the pace and it was too much for the Knicks, and they're just not the Knicks type of
Let me
ball.
give you something here.
Okay, give me some.
So the Pacers are 7-1 in games that were within 5 points within the last 5 minutes. That's crazy.
Well,
That's crazy.
it's crazy, but I'm gonna push back a little bit. They weren't playing defenses like this, baby. They were. It's hard to come
They
back
weren't.
against this team. It's
But
hard to
listen to
come
this.
back. I'm just saying.
Both both the Thunder and the Pacers have winning records in games they've trailed by 10 or more.
Something's got to
Winning
give.
records.
Yeah, something's got to
OKC is
give.
4-3 in games that they've trailed by double digits. Pacers are or no, my bad. Pacers are 4-3. The Thunder are 3-2. I mean, that's just shows both teams are pretty clutch. But the Pacers lead the league, not the lead entire regular season because they didn't really get going until late December, if we're being honest.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah.
But the postseason, they're leading transition offense. I
Yep.
mean, they're getting like 9 points a game off of straight fast break points. Not 9 points, 9 more points a game,
Yeah,
not
yeah.
just nine a
Then
game.
their opponents. Yeah,
I
yeah.
mean, they're just absolutely killing people
Those
in
outlet
transition and in
passes
the
are
fast
nice,
break
though.
offense.
I was watching that Knicks game. Those
Yeah, I mean,
outlet
and that's
passes
all
are
Tyrese
nice. Yeah,
Halliburton.
it's nice.
That is all Tyrese Halliburton. But as much as people like to point out, Hallie's ability to pass the ball, there are some games where he, doesn't have many turnovers or any turnovers, but he also has his games where he has a lot of turnovers. So my thing is when the Pacers look good, they look really good. But when they are playing mid to bad, they look really, really mid to bad because they rely so heavily on that transition offense. So I think we're going to be able to tell who's winning the game within the first quarter of all of these games.
Yeah,
It's all gonna. I think it's all going to depend on if the Pacers can push it early and see what happens. Now the thing is, still would think that Oklahoma City can make a comeback even if we're down like 20.
yeah. I
I
mean,
mean,
we've
that's
seen
just
it.
what
We've
we've
seen it.
seen
Yeah,
throughout
we've
this
seen it.
season and this postseason. Even against Minnesota in game three, all right? Like, we lost that game by 30, but there was a moment there where we were down, what, like 12?
Yep, we got cut it all
After
the way
we
to
were
12.
already,
Yeah, cut it all the way to 12.
we had been down by
The
31 and we like
bench
cut it
cut it
down
to
to 12.
12.
And
The
then they,
bench cut it to 12. You forget
yeah,
the
and then
bench
it
cut
just
it to
like fell
12.
apart from there.
Yeah,
It
I
just
mean,
fell apart from
yeah, and let's talk about it. Let's
there.
talk about it. So
But
we get blown out
yeah,
game 3, come back game 4, you win a squeaker where there was some crazy stuff happening in the end there. The fan catches the ball, they don't know how much time to put on. I think they penalized uh the Timberwolves because the fan clearly caught the ball with point 0.6 and they put point 0.3 on the clock. And I think they were just kind of estimating like if that fan wasn't there, when would the ball have hit the ground? And I think that's why they put
yeah.
point 0.3 because it was obvious fan interference, which I think could have been a technical if I'm not correct about that, and that would have ended the game for sure. You have is that true? Am I
But
right?
how do you? You can't. I don't think you can do that. I don't think a fan can get attacked.
Well, no, it
Um,
would have been assessed to the home team, right? I mean, you end up
well,
being
I
the
don't think so.
delay a game.
I
I know.
don't
I
think
mean,
so.
yeah. I
Here,
mean,
all right. So what
did
I
he
think
did
should
he
have
get a
happened.
card? Did he get a warning card? Give the guy a warning card. Get at it. But I
I
mean,
mean, I don't know because I
I
think
mean,
he's just trying to keep the ball from hitting somebody. Like
yeah.
really,
I
like that's
mean,
why he
yeah.
catches it because it's gonna hit somebody in the
Yeah, it
stands.
was.
But like in that situation, It's so interesting because that's like the one situation where this matters, right?
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
if this happens with like 4 seconds
No,
left
yeah,
on the clock,
yeah.
they're not
No,
worried
no,
about it. Like
no,
they're not worried about it at all.
no.
But when it's the difference between
Getting a shot off and not getting
getting
a
a
shot
shot
off.
off and
Yeah,
not getting a
yeah,
shot off, yeah, that's so tough.
yeah.
I think what should have happened is they probably should have. I think you do have to account for the fact that what is the time that would take for it to hit the ground. But I don't think you can give yourself much leeway. I say you put it down to point 0.5.
Yeah, I
Just give
mean,
them half a second.
in the
Give them
end,
half a second.
yeah, in the end, it wouldn't have mattered. I mean, I don't think, I don't think. I mean, look, J-Dub picks that ball off, and I mean, boy, did you see that reach too?
Yeah.
My man one handed that shit like some Odell Beckham shit, just wham.
Yeah. I mean,
I
and
mean,
he obviously saw that. He
yeah,
obviously saw that coming. I
yeah.
mean, we
So
had a mismatch down low. That's what
yeah,
they were looking for.
yeah, he baited him. He baited him. So I mean, I enjoyed that. I don't think it in the end would have really mattered. And I even if they would have got a shot off and forced overtime, I would have liked our chances anyways. But you go back for Game 5, and we kind of knew, the fans were going to juice this team to a victory. It kind of seemed like, this is just, what was going to happen. T-Wolves, you're down 3-1, heading back to OKC. It's over. Like, I mean, I think me and you both felt like if they didn't win that game, that was going to say more about the Timberwolves than it was going to say about the lack of whatever OKC would have been missing in that hypothetical. I think we kind of knew this is the put down the wolf euthanization. It was time to put him down. Like there was
Yeah.
no escaping it.
Yeah.
I didn't have any real worry about where the series was headed at that point. Once you won that game and you split that in Minnesota, it was over in my opinion.
I have a crazy theory about what happened there in game 3 and then subsequently in game 5. Um, I'm gonna be honest. I think Shea might have thrown game 3, uh, because I they asked him after game 5. They're like, "So what happened? You have game 3, and then you come and you win it in 5. What's going on?" He's like, "Nice to win it in front of the home court." And like, he played bad to start that game
Everybody
3. I mean, he
did.
was like 2 of 16
Everybody
or
did.
something like.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the thing. But if Shea plays bad, everybody's playing bad.
Yeah.
So I think I'm gonna be real. I think Shea might have thrown it because he was so confident that they could win it in 5.
I mean, it's hard not to like sit there and go, you could be right. I mean, because just look at just the other games in a nutshell and you take that one out, it's like it's so obviously just not
Yeah.
doesn't fit. It stands out like a purple turd. You're like what the hell is this?
Well,
Like,
I mean, even with game 4, right, where it was like the Timberwolves might win this game
yeah.
4
It
and send
was
it to
yeah.
6.
Yeah.
Like, we weren't really, it wasn't really like you said it was a squeaker. I don't know if it was a squeaker. Like,
Just in the
we
end,
were
like
up 10 with
in the
we were
last
up 10
minute.
with like 15 seconds. Like
Yeah,
they
how
were
did
just
we
winning the free throw battle and
yeah.
they hit some shots. Like
Yeah.
they scored really quickly, and then we were in a free throw battle,
Well, I think
and
the
I
other
was pretty confident
yeah.
we were going to win that game. I
And the
was
other
really confident we were going to win that game,
Yeah.
honestly.
And the other thing about Game 3 is the one differential between that and the rest of the games where the T-Wolves were hitting their threes. That was the big thing. The T-Wolves were not hitting their threes most of that. And I'm talking about wide open threes. I'm not talking about like, oh, hand in your face. They
Yeah.
were missing wide open threes that whole series. That, again, when we jump into this conversation about the Pacers and Oklahoma City, that's going to be not the case because the Pacers have been shooting at an incredible clip from distance at all 5 starting positions. That is undebatable, unquestionable. So that's going to be interesting to keep an eye on this series because if that ends up being a problem, because according to numbers, could be a huge problem. You probably will see some changes in some defensive strategy pretty quickly, especially if it starts happening tonight. I think that would be a real bad spaghettios kind of situation here if they get hot. Because I mean, you're talking about guys, but like I said, this series with the Timberwolves, I think was kind of wrapped up after that game 4. I think you kind of knew what was happening, what was coming. And the Timberwolves kind of felt it
Yeah.
early in that game as well. They felt like, okay, yeah, we're getting the hammer just absolutely thrown on us. We're turning the ball over like nobody's business. We can't even. I mean, just again, we hold a team to single digits in the first quarter. We held the Denver Nuggets to a single digit first quarter. We held this team to a single digit first quarter. I mean, if that's not championship level defense, I don't know what is. And that's what the Pacers are going to be up against tonight. And I think that's a really big really big problem. So let's go ahead and transition. Zach's Thunder
Yeah.
update. We're ready. I think everybody's kind of sick of talking about getting to this point. We're here now, and let me just start it out with this. Aaron Nesmith, Miles Turner, Pascal Siakam, all shooting above 40% from three in the postseason. They all shot above 38% in the regular season. So they're shooting a lot better from three. Now, again, we have to look at the defenses they've been playing against this whole entire path here and know that that did kind of help them in the end. I mean, these are not world beating defenses that you're going to go through getting
Yeah.
here. And this is the different animal. But if we're going to give them wide open looks like we've been giving all these other teams, that could be an issue. Is that something that you're going to be looking for? Because I know I'm going to be hyper focused on those corner
Yeah.
threes.
Yeah, exactly. So this is all I've been thinking about this entire like final leading up to this finals is how much Mark is willing to give up this corner three, right? He is willing to let them get that shot with, a pretty late closeout most of the time that results in a pretty much wide open shot. The Pacers are like the number one team from the corner. They shoot like 47%
Yeah,
on wide
crazy.
open corner
Yeah.
shots. Like they hit their corner threes. So I'm looking for that to see if we make that adjustment to see like maybe if the starting lineup even changes. Hartenstein could be an issue offensively for us as well as, mostly offensively, but also defensively, just their ability to you know, prevent us from being able to close out those corners. And what I mean by that is, having someone like Chet in the middle and maybe running like a 2-3 and just having people like Shea. And it's probably gonna be Shea and if Hartenstein didn't start, it'd probably be Shea and like Kaysen, closing out those corners. If Hartenstein does start, then I'm looking to see him in the middle and have Chet being ready to close out, but also being heavily favored towards the basket to be able to step in and make those stops when he needs to
Yeah,
at the rim because his rim
it'll
protection
be
is
a
so
late
good.
closeout from Chet if it is Chet. It'll be a late closeout.
Yeah.
You're not going to get there in
But Shea
time.
seems to camp in that corner,
Yeah.
quite a lot. And I think that's for a couple of reasons. One, he's pretty good at closing out. And he's quick to help and he's good at getting his hands in the like towards the basket when he needs to get deflections or to get steals. But also like that's where he can rest a little bit. So he doesn't have
Yeah.
to use all of his energy on defense so he can be what he needs to be on offense, which is what we need him for most of the time.
Catalyst, baby.
Um yeah. Um Listen to this. The Thunder are 3-3 when their opponent shot better than 36% from 3-point range.
Say it again.
9-1 when they shoot below that. 9-1 when below that. So it's all about shooting, in my opinion. It has to be. I mean, even when teams shoot well, we still usually like we're even. But if they're able to hit their threes, I mean, this is going to be a problem. But here's why I don't think that's going to happen. I don't think the Pacers are going to be able to get the ball where they need it to go. So the number one thing that the Pacers are, focusing on in this playoffs is they are going so fast that they're usually able to get their first look, in which this is called, this is what they mean when they say half court offense. This is their first look. Are they going to make their first shot? Because that is what is considered the half court offense. Anything after that is second chance points, etc. But can they make a high percentage of their shots in the half court offense? And I don't think that's going to happen because most of the half court offense relies on Tyrese Halliburton getting the ball to someone else and then, cutting, getting a bucket in the lane or being able to get back. You're not going to see a ton of ISO like Hallie plays. You're not going to really see a ton of those. Um, the thing about the Thunder is we're so good at interrupting the pass. We are so good at interrupting the pass. 11 steals per 100 possessions, which is insane. 18 turnovers per 100 possessions, which is insane. Alex Caruso has 5.2 deflections per 36 minutes, which is number one by far out of all the players who have played in the playoffs. Number one by far.
Love it.
Like Alex Caruso is going to be, well, think about it. Lou Dort, if they play them at the same time, which they probably won't, but they will play Caruso and Kaysen at the same time. Imagine Kaysen on Hallie and then Caruso just on a wing, ready to deflect that ball. I mean, that's hell. That's hell. And then even when those two guys come like get out, it's here comes Lou Dort.
Yeah.
So I think Halliburton's going to be in hell if the Pacers are able to win this series. It is going to be because Hallie goes absolutely nuclear. Like
Yeah.
that's the only way this happens because I don't think unless he's able to just overpower OKC's defense, which no one has been able to do, like he is not going to get his game. Like he will not be able to get his shots. He will not get to his spots and he will not be able to get the ball where he wants it to go. I mean, that I think people are going to really start to appreciate how good this Oklahoma City defense is during this series.
All right. Here's my theory about the defensive approach here. So the last two series between the Nuggets and the Timberwolves for Oklahoma City, the big thing for them was clogging the lane, right? You had such big threats that were such driving threats. You talk about Jamal Murray, talking about Jokic, obviously down there in the paint. And for the Timberwolves, Anthony Edwards' driving ability was what opened up most of the open threes that the Timberwolves generated throughout the regular season. The thing about the Pacers, which kind of lends me to the point that this defense might just change out the gate. We might not be allowing these threes in the first place, is because the only person that really drives the basketball on this team is Halliburton. And according to statistics, over the last 125 possessions that Lou Dort has guarded Tyrese Halliburton has scored 11 points in 125 possessions with Lou Dort guarding him. That's the torture chamber. That's bad. I mean, how many shots did he get up for those 11 points? 10 shots. 10 shots, 11 points, 125 possessions with Lou Dort guarding you. No assists. Get this, Zach. No assists when Lou Dort was guarding Halliburton in the regular season. None. And the Thunder won both of those games. One of them was not easy. The other one was kind of a cruise fest. But, I mean, this is the thing that I think is going to change, is because I don't think we're going to get those corner threes. I think we're going to play man-to-man with this team because they don't rebound the ball either. This is not going to be a team that's going to out-rebound you. The Pacers don't rebound the ball very well either. These problems that we had with these Western Conference opponents we've been playing to this point, this Pacers team has almost none of those attributes. The only thing they have is they can hit threes at a clip that these other teams haven't been hitting in the postseason. That's the big thing. But if we can man up with them and not let them do anything, it's going to be nothing but pick and rolls all night. We defend the pick and roll fantastically. We have guys that are able to do that in their sleep. I mean, I think that big problem for us is going to be whether or not Tyrese Halliburton can blow by some of our big guys, because the switchers are going to happen. And we've been so good at being able to allow those switches to happen and be able to defend anyways. That's the big upside for our team, is switching doesn't really affect us because everybody is a decent defender in one way or the other. A lot of teams don't have that luxury. People want to shit on Shea. Shea's a good defender. I don't know where people are getting this I think the most comp player to Shea is James Harden. Are you fucking kidding me? Are you on drugs? I mean, there is not any similarity between him and James Harden other than they both have a scoring title and both were drawing fouls at a pretty decent clip during the regular season, but James Harden was like drawing like double the amount of fouls because the rip through thing was so popular when he was playing that, and they've kind of eliminated that now, so you don't even have those kind of cheesy foul calls that Shea can lean himself into. So I just feel like with the defensive aptitude that this team has, there's no way that those threes are going to be open, because I think Mark is obviously smarter than both of us. Let's just bow down to the greatness that is Mark Dadnoff.
Yeah, do not listen to us.
Yeah,
Mark.
don't listen. Do not listen.
Us.
I think he knows that Tyrese Halliburton is the only guy that likes to drive to the basket. I mean, for the love of God, Miles Turner is a post perimeter. My man is gonna get cooked tonight if he goes down in the post, because Hartenstein will beat him up and Chet will block his shots. It's just bound to happen. He's not a post guy. Like, he can hit it, but most of his shots, if you go back and watch those Knicks games, he was just fading away in the middle of the lane over Cat. He was abusing Cat down low. But we know Cat's not a defender, man. Like, Cat has never hung his hat on defense a day in his life. My man is not that dude. And Hartenstein is that dude, and Chet will stuff your shit. We know that. So I think that Mark knows and everybody else knows that this team brings a lot of different things to the table that none of the teams that we've played to this point bring, but they're a lot easier to handle than what the other teams have brought to the table as well.
Yeah. So one thing in particular that I'm really looking at is everyone is, I think one of the big things that the NBA has been pushing since this finals matchup has been number one offense versus number one defense, right? Okay, that's not true. It's not. Like, the Pacers have the number one offense in the playoffs right now by, let's see, what is it? They have an offensive rating of 117.7 in the playoffs versus OKC's 115.9.
And what is that
Like,
out of?
minuscule
What's
difference.
the max? What's the max number? 117 out of what? 115 out of what? Like or is it, does that just keep climbing? Is there
No,
not
no. Do
there's
you
not a
know what? Okay, let me explain offensive rating here.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
points scored per 100 possessions.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
Yeah, per 100. All these ratings are per
Per
100
100%.
possessions.
Okay.
So
So only by 2 points.
OKC
Yeah.
scoring about 116 and
They're scoring
Indiana scoring about
117.
118.
Yeah.
Now, regular season, like, let me ask you a question,
Yeah.
right? So, not including, let's say, the Cavaliers, all right? The Pacers have played what defenses in the regular season regularly? Boston
Yeah.
and the Cavs. Like,
That's
that's
it.
that's pretty much the only defenses that they're playing that are good,
Yeah.
like, regularly
Yeah.
in the East.
Yeah. I mean,
And
and yeah.
Milwaukee always killed them. But now let me
Yeah.
ask you this. Obviously, the Thunder are the best defense in the NBA. In the West, who do you think's second? Probably Minnesota.
Yeah. It was, I mean, I know the postseason it was Minnesota.
So, and even in regular season, like Minnesota, Houston,
Houston was up.
you know,
Um
Memphis, even when
Memphis.
Jaren Jackson plays,
Yeah, good.
um, Denver,
Yeah.
like, and OKC has played Memphis, they played Denver, and they
Minnesota.
played Minnesota.
Yeah. So the only one
Our
they
ratings in those
yeah.
games, right? In those games, we had 117.4 against Memphis. We had 113.8 against Denver, which I think we both agree was definitely our toughest
It
series.
was. I mean, it went
And then
7.
Minnesota, we had, get this, Minnesota, we had an offensive rating of 117.7, which is what the Pacers have been averaging in the playoffs. Pacers played Milwaukee with basically no one on offense for Milwaukee. They had so many injuries, and Giannis just couldn't carry them.
No Lillard.
They played Cleveland. They played Cleveland, who just shit the bed. I
I
mean,
still understand sitting those 3 guys. I feel like that game they sat those 3 guys was like, you feel way too
yeah,
confident about this series to sit those guys. They weren't that hurt.
exactly.
They
Like,
weren't that
that,
hurt. They
it felt
weren't
like
that
more of a
hurt.
coach. It felt like it was more of a coach's
Yeah,
decision.
it
Like,
was.
they
Yeah,
played a
yeah.
game with no Evan
Yeah,
Mobley.
I think the
Like,
players
we're
would have
talking about the
played.
defensive
Yeah,
player of the
I think
year.
he would have played. No, yeah, I agree. I think it was a coach's
So,
decision for
and
sure.
then and then right, they play New York,
Yeah,
and
which
they
is
have
historically
118.
bad defense.
So
Historically bad defense.
so let's look at these. Let's look at defensive ratings during the season, right? Just like during the season. And OKC is obviously number one, but let's look at the team that all of these guys played in the
Okay.
playoffs. The next, between either of these teams in their matchups, the next highest defensive rating is Minnesota
Yeah,
with
I
a
mean, okay.
110.8. After that, it's Cleveland with the 111.8, and this is regular season.
Okay.
Memphis is up next,
Oh, wow.
and then it's Bucks and the Knicks, right?
Knicks is surprising to me.
So, in Denver, Denver obviously didn't have a great defense during the regular season,
Yeah, but in the
but
postseason, they cranked that shit
I
up.
think they kind of locked in the
Yeah,
postseason. So let's
they
look
took
in
the
the
Jokic.
playoffs what these teams had,
Yeah,
right?
go ahead. Yeah.
In the playoffs, Minnesota, Cleveland, New York, Denver, Memphis, Milwaukee.
And then we're at the top of that.
And Milwaukee is way down there.
Are
So
we at the top
Milwaukee
of
was
that? Or are we
allowing a, oh yeah,
Okay, okay, okay,
number one
okay,
by
okay,
far.
okay. I
One
was
or
like,
four
man, I
points
was like, I
better.
haven't heard us
That's,
yet. That's not good. And I was like, when did that happen? I was
oh
like,
no, no,
no, I was like,
no.
okay,
Pacers, so we are first in defensive rating with a
okay. In the
104.4.
postseason,
Remember, that's
okay.
points
So
allowed per
about per
100
100
possessions
possessions.
in the
Okay.
postseason. Indiana 113.6 at number 9 in the
Yeah,
playoffs.
no, they're cooked. Like,
So,
yeah,
and then you look at offensive rating, and it's Cleveland number 1, and then with the 122.6, and that's just because of the Heat series. Like, that's the Heat series.
yeah.
And then Pacers at 117.7 and OKC at 115.9.
Yeah, no, that's. I mean, look,
So
yeah, all that is leaning
we
towards
played better
BS.
defenses.
Yeah, BS. This is one of those instances where the stats lie, right? Like this is one of those where the stats lie, but it's good for the mainstream media to push the narrative because it gets people to watch,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
So another thing I'm looking at, right, is the Pacers' tendencies on defense. And they're a physical team. They are. They're just like OKC in that aspect. And there's going to be a lot of free throws in this series. And I know that's going to be a narrative, but there are going to be a lot of free throws in this series. I guarantee it. I just guarantee it. Unless the refs just swallow the whistle, which I don't think is going to happen.
It will tonight.
So
It will
get
tonight.
this.
You know why it will happen
What
tonight? Because Scott Foster lets us play, baby. The extender lets us
Scott
play.
Foster
Every
lets us
every
play.
game that he has reffed this postseason, we have won. Just throwing that out there. He lets us play.
So listen to this. Indiana is 15th out of the 16 teams that made the playoffs in opponent free throw rate, meaning they give
Ooh.
up a lot of free throws, and that's
Ooh.
not good
That's
against
not good.
OKC, especially when Shea is who's handling the ball. Now, get this, who's going to guard Shea, right? Neesmith. It's going to
Yeah.
be Neesmith.
Yeah, it will be. It,
Neesmith
and if not
is
him,
the
it's
most.
and if not him, it's Dimbard. That ain't better.
Yeah. So Neesmith is the number one player in the playoffs in fouls committed with
Oh,
4.9, basically 5 fouls committed every 36 minutes.
he's fouling out, baby. He's fouling out.
Not only is he fouling out, but those are going to be fouls on Shea.
Oh yeah.
And those are going to be made free throws.
Hopefully, he's. I
Like
mean,
Shea's probably going to hit like 10 free throws a game this
yeah,
finals.
10,
Like,
10 out of 12. He's like good for 2 or 3 misses a night. He's been kind of
and
disappointing.
even if he doesn't, Indiana is last in the playoffs in isolation points allowed.
Yeah,
1.25 points allowed per possession in isolation. We have the best ISO player in the league.
true.
Like, even if it's not isolation, I'm 3 deep right now. Even if they don't foul, even if it's not isolation buckets, they only switch on 12% of screens.
Not good.
Like, that's not good. That's not good.
So yeah,
Like, not against
yeah,
OKC.
expect
Like,
yeah. That's gonna
SGA is
change. Yeah,
blowing
that's gonna
by. He is
change.
blowing
Yeah,
by.
that's gotta
Like,
change.
even if I know you want to avoid the Miles Turner
Oh yeah,
matchup with
yeah.
SGA,
Blow
obviously.
by.
Like, you
Yeah,
do.
blow
You
by.
want to avoid that. You want to keep Neesmith on him. But what you don't want to do is not switch on that and then just have SGA blow by you for an
Yeah.
open layup.
He'll do it. I mean, he'll do it. And that's the thing is they're obviously going to make some adjustments. But the thing about Rick Carlisle is he is stubborn, man, because he also is not a guy that changes lineups very often. He is
Yeah.
not like Mark Dadnow where he is switching lineups up very often. I think they said throughout the whole entire season, including postseason, he switched the lineup 12 times. Like that's so low. Like
Well,
Mark changes the lineup 12 times every 3 games. Like I mean, like no shit. Like he does. Like my man loves shuffling them pieces
yeah.
around because it's one
But
of those.
he's kept the starters the same though.
Yes, no,
You
the
know,
starters. Yeah,
and I think a big reason that our lineups changed so much is because of the injuries.
yes,
People forget that we did all this good fucking
yep.
stats I talked about in the regular season when that OKC led, which we were number one in offense, defense in the regular season. By the way, I'm pretty sure. Let
Yeah,
me just double
yeah.
check that.
50 games
Yeah,
without
we are
Chet.
number. Oh no, we're number 3, dang, but
3.
we are
Okay.
way ahead of Indiana, who's number 9 in the regular season
Oop,
in offensive rating,
oop,
and then we're the number 1 defense by far.
oop.
Like, people forget that these stats that I'm talking about, Chet was not there for 50 games.
Yeah, 50.
Hartenstein was not there for 25 games. J-Dub was not there for 12 games. Like,
Caruso. Caruso had those hip injuries.
Caruso
Yeah,
wasn't there.
yeah,
Like, we were not healthy
yeah.
this season
Welcome to the
at
healthy team.
all.
Yeah, welcome to the health club now. I mean,
Like, and
we're
this
yeah,
team is so much better when we have all these guys healthy.
yeah.
Like, I mean, I don't during the regular season, if all of our starters were there, I think we lost like 5 games.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, I mean, we had easily had a record that would have been comparable to the 16 Warriors. I feel like it would have been close. It would have been close. It would have been
Like, he lost 3 games to the Mavericks, and all of those were without either Chet or Hartenstein, and one of them was without both of them, so
it could have been 72-10. I feel like that would have been totally
I
doable.
I think if we were healthy I think if we were healthy, and I'm saying this with I
The
know I'm
the
biased, I'm
cour the
saying this with
courage of
full
your
confidence. I think
convictions.
if we were healthy we're winning 74 games.
It could have happened. Like, it could have happened. Like, you're like, look, like, you lay those out there, and you're right. It would have happened, but I mean, it didn't. But you're right. It would have happened, and I totally agree with you. So
Like, we
given,
would have won 70 if we were
yeah,
healthy. We won
yeah,
68. We
yeah,
would have won
yeah,
70 if we were healthy. Like,
yeah. We're so spoiled. We're so spoiled. But given all this, I think it's time. I think it's time to make predictions here. I think it's time. We got
yeah,
we got 45 minutes till tip, probably 50 if you know how TV works. But
probably that
yeah,
one.
yeah, 7:40 tip,
finals.
7:40 tip, 7:45 probably.
At 8
Yeah,
o'clock.
yeah. The anthem's gonna take a while. We have a dog doing it in sign language. It's the finals.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
so
And
here's
there's a banner dropping, I think, tonight.
Western Conference banner drop. Western Conference champion
Yeah,
banner
pretty
drop.
sure.
I'd hope so. I mean, give us some juice. Give the building some extra juice.
I know the banner's up there. I've seen the picture of it rolled up. It's up there. I just don't know
Mhm.
when we're dropping it.
All right, we better be dropping it. I'm look. I wanted to talk to you about this because again, I hate being confident. It's the biggest thing I hate is being confident because I was confident we were up 1-0 against the Heat in 2012. I was really confident we were up 3-1 against the Warriors in 2016. But now, obviously, different team, different players, but my confidence level. You see what I'm
Wait,
saying?
wait,
Like,
wait. You were confident against the Eagles?
Durant dropped 36 in that first game, and we cooked them. I mean, we looked like we were ready to at least take that thing. I mean, if I'm telling you, I was very. Look, I was juiced, baby. I really thought I was like, look, it just seemed like destiny because we weren't supposed to be there, and everything was just falling in line. And Kevin Durant was playing out of his mind. And to be honest,
That's what the Pacers feel like.
there wasn't even the best Heat team, to be honest. I mean, it was one of those things where I felt after game one, I was like, we should. And the thing is, the format fucked us. I'm gonna be honest, the format fucked us. Having it be one
Yeah, that
three
was still
one
2-3-2, wasn't it?
yeah, it was stupid. If it was the same format
Yeah.
as this season, I don't think we would have gotten it would have at least been like a 6 game. It would have been a 4-2 and not 4-1 victory for the Heat, if anything. Like I'm dead set on that. But I was feeling pretty confident after game
Um,
one of that finals. I was feeling really confident up 3-1 in 2016. But I don't think I've ever felt as confident as I feel now, especially with those stats to
yeah,
back it up. I mean, it just seems like there is absolutely no excuse why this thing should go longer than 5 games. There just seems to be no excuse. But
yeah,
the thing is if, like you said, if the Pacers can hit their threes like they have been, and we end up dropping the ball with our hands down or whatever, it could go 6. But there's no way this thing goes the distance. I just don't see it, and I don't see the Pacers winning this series because as good as their defense has looked against the Eastern Conference, getting to this point, like you said, those aren't even really good Eastern Conference teams. The East is not good. They're so top heavy, and the two kings of the East are gone due to injuries, due to whatever you want to say. They're not here. So we can't have the conversation that we
yep.
would have been having where we thought at the beginning of the year it's Thunder, Boston, and then we could be having this conversation about, well, this could be a really tough series. But right now, I don't really see it. Like, I love Indiana because before the OKC was here, they were that small town team, right? Like, Indiana was us before we existed. And even in those early years, because just the atmosphere, small town, just the way that community gets around that team was very much like the early days of OKC. And I think
Yeah.
now, you can't really say the same thing. But so I have some love for those Danny Granger Pacers and those Oladipo Pacers. And I mean,
Oh, I
those
do. Dude,
those
2014 Pacers.
yeah,
Oof.
that team is special. Like in my heart, they will always have a spot. But this ain't them. This ain't them. Like prime Paul George ain't walking through that door. And aging Danny Granger ain't walking through that door. Like Roy Hibbert ain't walking through that door. Like there are players that would be a lot better or a lot more of a problem for OKC if they still existed in this time capsule than anything that the Pacers are rolling out this year. And I feel bad because it's like if we weren't here, if it wasn't us playing in the finals and it was the Pacers, I would be rooting for the Pacers against probably whoever come down to the West. I'm gonna be honest. I probably
Yeah.
would. I mean,
100%.
yeah, because it just would make me feel good. I love when small markets take that shit. And But now, it just doesn't seem possible. So give me the Thunder in 5. I will give the Pacers 1 at home because I really think that they do play a lot better at home, and I think that we just have this tendency of just kind of being like, and like maybe you're right. Maybe Shay's like every game 3 we're just gonna throw because fuck it. I mean, and
Yeah, I
I
mean that
mean I
seems
don't
to be the
know.
case.
So yeah,
Like
look at the
even in the
game.
Memphis
Yeah, look
series,
at the
right?
game
Like,
threes and all these series. It just seems like yeah, let
yeah,
them have one. Let them have one. But yeah, so give me the Thunder in 5. I feel really confident about it, and I don't think it's gonna bite me in the ass this time.
yeah. I just want to take a second to brag about my predictions for the conference finals because I got them both exactly right.
Give it up
I
to
mean,
him.
Thunder in 5, Pacers in 6.
Give it up to him.
Now I will say like preseason predictions and like right before the playoffs predictions. Obviously, I think I had Boston and OKC, but that was before. And even in that prediction, I had Pacers in the conference finals against Boston. I mean, just
Yeah,
got to take
hey,
a second to brag about that. I
can we just
killed
say
it.
RIP for my coming out of the East pick before the season started being the 76ers? Can we just RIP that pick? Because I didn't. Hey,
Yeah, that's tough.
look, Jared McCain getting injured really fucked me. I'm not gonna lie, he's special. Like that kid can ball, and him not being on the floor really hurt. And I will say RIP to that. Like I'll take full ownership. Like I'll eat the biggest crow ever. I look. Fight, like, it's bad. It was bad. It was real bad. Um,
It was bad.
but I think we both had OKC coming out of the West, and I think that um I mean, give it up to you, Zach. I mean, big time stuff here. When we get to the end here, you being on the ball. So what do you got for me? What do you got for me for this finals? What do
Oh,
you got?
I mean, I'm with you. I think it's OKC in 5. I think that the Pacers are going to get game 3. And I think that's just because I think their fans deserve it. And I think the basketball gods are going to give them one at home
Yeah, well,
that they can, cheer about.
all right, well,
And so I'm taking Thunder in 5.
all right, I like it. We'll be live again after game 3. We'll be live again after game 3. So we'll know whether or not we sold game 3 like we think we're gonna sell. Zach, any final thoughts before we get out of here?
Just want to mention one thing,
Yeah,
one more stat.
yeah, do it.
It's so the shooting is so important. It's so important, man. The Pacers have to shoot bad for us to win. I don't not even that, but like they should shoot bad. And if they do, I think we're going to win really easily. I mentioned earlier OKC is 9-1 when we hold teams below 36%. Just take a guess what the one loss was in the playoffs.
Soda?
No, when they shoot below
Oh,
36, they
below.
shot a
Oh,
crazy
okay.
that series.
Below. It was probably the Memphis series. To the first
Nope.
round? No,
It
it
was
was
Denver.
Denver. Wow, which game? Was it
It
game
was
4?
Aaron Gordon 3.
Ah, the first game. Yeah, no, yeah, the game we shouldn't have even lost in the first place. Yeah,
Yeah,
the
Aaron Gordon 3.
giveaway
That
game.
is the
Yeah, the
game that
giveaway
we
game.
lost.
Yeah, that.
Like we should be 10-0 in games that we hold them to low shooting. And I think that's going to happen. So listen, my heart says low key Thunder in 4, but I'm just going to say 5 because I just know that the Pacers will get 1. So
Respect to the Pacers getting one. All right, well, hey, that'll do it. We got tip off here in about 45 minutes. I'll get this thing uploaded and we'll get it out, and we'll have all the tiny YouTube shorts out for you probably around midnight tonight. So we'll get some numbers on that. But hey, we have the video proof. You want to go look at the shorts? We have video proof of Zach telling you Pacers in 6 weeks ago. So it's on there. Take a gander, take a look through them. We appreciate all the subs. We were almost to 100 subs. We have grown the channel about tenfold in the last 4 months. So we appreciate all the support you guys give. I know you don't give us a lot of views on this long form, but you give us a lot of views on our shorts, and we appreciate that. Thunder up, and I mean, good night, Canada. I mean, these wins are for the gays. They're for the gays. We're winning this for the gays, boys.
for the gays,
We're having
it's
a
all for the
pride.
gays.
We're having a pride parade right before the other parade.
We're going to have a parade.
We're
There's
having
gonna be a big
multiple
parade.
parades. Guys, take it easy. Keep a stick on the ice, and we will see you next Thursday for another episode of Stoner Sports Radio Podcast here on YouTube.